I don't know about you, but I love seafood. Shrimp, oysters, clams, lobster, all the goodness. And what better but when you pair it with butter? And what better way to cook it than to butter poach some shrimp? Get your apron on, this might get a little messy. Hey y'all, behind me on the stove is some jasmine brown rice that I've already started. I really don't need to show you how to make that. You can look at the package that you purchase your rice and it's going to tell you how much water to how much rice and how long to cook it. It's that simple. Always follow their instructions. Don't worry about what I tell you on the rice. They know better than I do. But I picked brown jasmine rice because jasmine rice is very fragrant. So as it cooks, it just really has this great aroma to it, almost buttery. We're going to be butter poaching shrimp. So it's going to be nice to have that buttery flavor in there. I'm going to put a little citrus just to really help brighten it up. But then being a brown rice, not only is it a whole grain, but it also has a nutty character. So it just makes the rice even more interesting. We're not cooking it with a stock because I want the shrimp to be the star, the protein, the flavor. So if I put a vegetable stock or a chicken stock in there, sometimes the rice can overtake it, maybe get a little salty. We're not doing any of that today. The shrimp are the star. So let me introduce you to Argentinian red shrimp. Do you know about these things yet? Because they have been coming on like gangbusters. People are buying them up like crazy. Not only are they nice and meaty and really, really delicious, but when they freeze, like most stuff that's frozen that has moisture content in it, you get ice crystals, and it breaks down some of the fiber in there, you know, the protein in there. So shrimp and shellfish can get very, very spongy and squishy. If you freeze fruit, obviously when you take it out, it looks nothing like it did because it breaks down a lot of the pectins and other items in the fruit. So I do a shell-on red Argentinian shrimp when I need frozen shrimp. If I can get fresh shrimp somewhere, by golly, that's what I'm gonna do. But these suckers are awesome, and they almost look cooked. I mean, that color is pretty slick. So just imagine what these are gonna look like after we butter poach them. I'm so excited. Okay, so I've shown you this before, but you start here at the tail and peel around and take off essentially the first layer. Then just come in, grab, and come around. See? Easy peasy, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and do a bunch of these, and then I'm gonna turn on the water and devein them. Okay, so I've got the water on trickle, as you can see here. And what I'm doing is I'm running a paring knife down the back side of the shrimp. And what we're trying to do is get to what's commonly referred to as the vein. Of course, that is the waste from the shrimp eating. So you know what that is. Nobody wants to eat that. It's very gritty, it's pretty disgusting. And then you've just got this nice line in the back of the shrimp. When it cooks, it kind of opens it up. They used to call it butterflying. They'd cut them in a little bit deeper and really have them blow up and maybe stuff them with something or just boil them and make them really, really look pretty. But again, just pop that out, run it under a little water just to clean it off. Of course, run your garbage disposal afterwards because we want everything to be gone. And there we have a perfectly clean shrimp. I'm gonna go ahead and keep doing this here for just a little bit. If you want extra practice, the Shrimp and Grits episode also covers this. So feel free to make shrimp, and more shrimp because I don't care if it's Valentine's Day, birthday, or Tuesday. Shrimp is a good thing. We'll be right back. Because I'm putting 10 shrimp in here and a pound of butter, this is probably the right size pan. If you're only making 4 or 5 shrimp, you probably want a very small saucepan because what you want to do is have enough butter sauce to get on top of the shrimp and cover it, kind of like just allow it to poach in there and not have any headspace above it. So the wider and bigger the pan, the more butter you need. So you want to find that happy balance. And typically what I'll do is probably 1 stick of butter to every 2, maybe 3 shrimp. Anything less than that and you won't have enough. But the water acts as an emulsifying agent. So as it heats up, we're gonna drop in butter chunk after chunk after chunk and continue to blend it. We're not gonna bring it to a boil. We're gonna get it to maybe 170 degrees or so. If you go medium and then just a tick over, don't go medium high because it's gonna have an opportunity to scorch. But just a little over medium, we're gonna be at the right temperature for this to emulsify and not break. If it breaks because it gets too hot, the butter fat's gonna separate and you're just gonna have a pan full of butter. Instead, we're gonna have this emulsified, delicious butter poaching liquid that's gonna look like a cream sauce. That's when you know we got it right. The lid is on the ready because as soon as this is ready, the shrimp go in, 5 minutes, boom, we're done. The rice is almost done. I'm gonna finish it with some sweet green peas, some rough chopped parsley, kind of add a little bit more fragrance to it. The peas will give it some color and some texture. Super, super excited about this. But once the rice is almost done, you fire up your water over here, you get your butter ready, and it's go, go, go time. Okay. Okay, so two things I'm doing to make life a little bit easier. First thing is I've unwrapped the 4 sticks of butter. So 4 sticks equals a pound. You may know that, you may not. I'm gonna just say it. The other thing is, as you can see, I've put cuts in here that are around a tablespoon each. So just like those lines that are drawn on the package of the butter, what we're gonna do is add these 2 to 3 tablespoons at a time. So I've got a little steam coming off of my water. I'm gonna go ahead and put the first 3 in. Now normally, I would just use a wire whisk. We've got them in all shapes and sizes around the house, and obviously getting stuck in here. But if you remember, we were talking about using some kitchen electrics. These little hand mixers are really, really great. If you remember, you probably went to somebody's house when you were younger, they made cake batter with them and you were always there to help lick, or somebody would bring mashed potatoes and then beat them within an inch of their life using the other paddles. But nowadays, they come with a little wire whisk on them. So you can literally sit here on low and just mix it around. I'm going to show you this here in just a second. All right, so if you look down inside of here, you can see we've just melted that butter, but it's still got that creamy color to it. So we'll go ahead, get a few more in there. Keep it on the lowest setting or you'll be wearing it, I promise you. If you do it with a hand one, you're just going to want to do it very slowly. Okay, so just about all the liquid has soaked up in the rice. Still going to simmer for just a little bit longer. The peas are in there cooking. We're just going to keep adding butter. I've got almost 2 sticks in there so far after about 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So we're definitely making some progress. This is not something you can rush because, again, if you break it or if you don't beat it enough, you are going to lose the consistency we're looking for and have to start over. A pound of butter is not expensive, but your time, we want to keep your time right here focused. Okay, because not everybody's gonna have a hand mixer with a little whisk on it, this is the size that I would use if I was doing this. So we've still got nice emulsification going down here. And you're just gonna more stir and add some air. The idea is you're handling it like a whipped cream, but low and slow, low temperature, and you don't have to whip it quite as fast. We're not trying to froth it or create peaks. We're just trying to keep everything emulsified and keep it off the stove, because again, this stuff wants to go everywhere. Okay, so now that there's some volume in here, we've got a lot more liquid. I'm gonna add a very thick sprig of thyme. That's gonna put a nice herbal fragrance into the butter, because butter is fat, it's just gonna be salty and fatty. So how do we add a little bit more interest to it? We're gonna add a little thyme and keep whisking. Okay, I've got about a half a stick left, so I'm gonna pause for just a quick second. Lemon zest is one of my absolute favorite flavors. And because seafood really thrives with lemon, we're gonna go ahead and get a little bit of this zest in here. Make sure you don't get the white, you just wanna get the yellow off to add that beautiful fragrance. Now we're gonna use this lemon also to finish the rice when we add the parsley. So we're gonna have that nice citrus to kind of cut. One of the other things is if you're doing anything that's keto or lower in carb, you can do a microgreen salad. Just use a little olive oil, salt, pepper, and lemon juice to create a bright citrus vinaigrette. Put it over the microgreens and then put the shrimp on top of that. Again, the butter and the citrus, we've got that balance. We're getting that contrast of flavor, so it's not just fat on fat. If you did a heavy Italian dressing, something that's really loaded up with a lot of oil, it's just gonna be too much of one note, and we don't ever want that. We're getting down to the last couple pieces of butter here. I'm gonna continue to whisk, and then we're gonna come back and add some shrimp. Lemon juice going in the rice. Do not forget to catch the seeds. That is a very unfortunate ending for somebody's dinner. Definitely don't wanna bite down on one of those. Okay, I've got this down super, super low because I'm trying to buy myself a little time here so you can see we've got little bubbling coming up. You've got the wonderful herb in there. So we're gonna get plenty of that thyme flavor. The butter is emulsified and it looks creamy. This is beautiful. We're getting ready to add the shrimp and put a lid on. Just placing the last shrimp down in here. As you can tell, plenty of liquid to cover them, but not so much that I've wasted butter. Medium heat, 5 minutes, and then we've got something delicious. All right, so who's hungry? 5 minutes in the butter, we've got ourselves some awesome shrimp. So I'm gonna do 2 things here. So I'm gonna do the rice. I've got some little baby heirloom, if you will, carrots that I've just steamed real quick. Some of the butter from the shrimp will go on that just to kind of finish them off a little bit. I've got that salad I mentioned, microgreens, some of those carrots, some baby tomatoes as well. We're just gonna go ahead and get this on this plate. So you kind of have some options here. You could serve this salad as a side if you wanted to, because again, that bright citrus, lemon juice, olive oil, and some salt. Or you can make this the base for it and just serve up the shrimp. Make sure you get enough of the butter off of the shrimp when you do serve that up, because you don't want the lettuce or the microgreens to start cooking and tasting like the butter. We want to make sure that the shrimp are certainly going to be the star, but again, we want the microgreens to hold up. So what I figured is, let's be cute, and we will put these on there in heart shapes. So if any of them didn't curl properly, they're just going to have to go somewhere else, like in my belly. All right. I always cook extra in case one of these buggers doesn't want to participate properly, but we're looking okay. That's kind of cute. We're gonna roll with that. Let's go ahead, get some rice down. You can smell the jasmine rice. You can smell the lemon. It's gonna be pretty. You've got flat leaf parsley in there. You've got the peas. Give it some nice color. Go ahead, pull some of these out. Nice. You can smell the thyme. Beautiful. There we go. All right, and there you have it. So we've got two different dishes for you here. Butter poached shrimp on a microgreen salad, or butter poached shrimp on jasmine rice with carrots. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little butter to the carrots, put a little cracked pepper on top, because I think the shrimp really pop when you put a little cracked pepper on here, and we've got ourselves a show. So don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. On the website, thebeardedhomecook.com, I'm gonna have not only the recipe and the video link, but I'm also gonna put some notes in there if you wanted to take this one step further and try to do maybe a cold water lobster tail. The ones out of Canada are definitely less expensive than what you're gonna get out of Maine. You can pick those up for about $5 or $6 a piece. So if you really wanted to try something unique and different, try it with something that's a little cost effective, and then get into doing Maine lobster, and heck, you could do crab, you could do oysters, you could do all kinds of stuff in there. But this is a great, easy recipe to start with. Argentinian shrimp taste wonderful, so you're gonna love this. I really, really hope you enjoy this episode. Again, this is either a Tuesday night, a Wednesday night, or Valentine's. It doesn't matter. Shrimp and butter has universal appeal. So I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you back here soon. Thanks a lot.